Hello everybody, today we're going to cover ScrollMotion and the operations of it. The basic operations are about the same on every single page. You're going to find some nice little tips and tricks in here. But first you'll want to locate ScrollMotion on your tablet, which is only be done on an iPad. So when you open up your ScrollMotion here, you'll come to your library page. My library may differ from yours a little bit since I do create these. But if you go to your version 6, which will be the one that you will have, once you open it up, you're going to see your landing page with the scrolling numbers at the bottom. Couple of tips. When you take an iPad like so and you swipe, you'll see this screen open up. And so that's basically taken, and I'll move my mouse on the screen, from the left side to the right side. It'll open this up. You have the ability to draw, which is what you've seen in the previous videos where we draw on the screen. To make it disappear, you just hit done. You can also share each individual page if you want to. I don't know how you would, but you can. You can share a page with a customer just by clicking that link. It'll create basically a PDF of that page, and then you can send and email that out to somebody, just like so. So I'm going to delete this. But this is on the first page, and then on all subsequent pages until you get to the DocuSign pages. On the bottom right-hand corner here, you've got a sub-menu, and this menu that pops up, it lists all the different parts of our presentation. As you've seen in the previous videos, you'll see that our presentation basically has really 4 big parts. 5 in all actuality, but they're kind of compressed into 4. But it's Let's Talk Payments, which is your credibility and your building value and who we are as a company. Then your protection. This is what we're doing, the pulse of what the industry is. What is the truth about things like EMV? How does a merchant get protected? What issues do they currently have, and what do they maybe not know they have, as well as how do we create solutions for these? And then let's create something great. This is our answer to everything that's happened up to that point in the presentation. And then we go into our accounting mediums and methods, and this is really the close or the end of the presentation. So on each of those pages, there's going to be multiple links, which I'm going to show you here in a moment. But then we're going to concentrate on the last 2. Because the last 2 tiles, which are Business 2.0 and the Tool Vault. Within Business 2.0, and the reason it's called Business 2.0 is because it's the next level of business. Meaning the merchants, when they get on the CardPoint system, now they have access to every one of these pieces all at once. So it's immediate for our customers. So I don't spend a lot of time selling like terminals or anything like that, because to us, the terminals are really just they're devices that allow us to enter cards. Where the real magic happens is on our card secure gateway. So that's why it's not an actual part of the presentation, but rather a supplement should somebody say, well, what's that look like? Well, here's what the terminal looks like. But as you learn and you go through the presentation, the more you go through it, the better it's going to be, because you're going to know where everything is at. So I'm going to go back to the front page, and we'll start from here. So once you've done your landing page, and to swipe to go from one page to the next, you swipe like this, or you swipe like this, back and forth. That's all you got to do. So to go back to the first page, on the first page, in order to make videos play, you obviously hit the play button. But if you want to make it full screen, you have what's called a call out. So for example here, I'm going to hit play.
Processing payments
I'm going to make it full screen.
Easier.
Now I'm not going to keep playing it, but that's how you do it. And how do you make it return from full screen? You just open it up.
A revolutionary payments
Top
platform.
left-hand corner, you hit done, and it goes right back. Again, as with all pages, bottom right-hand corner over here, if I hit it, it's going to populate that same menu. So that's going to happen on every single page. That's something that's very consistent throughout the whole thing. So it's the last time I'll show you all that. So on the next page, there's nothing really that's going to populate or open up on this. It's just a matter of the graphic changing colors, just drawing the listener into the story that you're telling regarding merchant services, giving them education on what actually is going on in the industry. Next page, there's nothing that's going to populate. It's just simply the logos of some of our larger customers, all household names, as we all know. The next page is where we get into the pulse of payments. Now, this has a lot of updates, and what I mean is it's got a lot of things that are continually moved around throughout the different versions of the presentation. But this is really you as a sales rep talking about the industry. Because in order for us to really sell somebody on any sort of an idea, they have to understand what the industry is about. So we've broken them down into these 5 categories. Okay, oops. Each of these categories is in itself another pop-up. So all you'll have to do, and the general area around each one is about this big, about like so, is it's where you touch. I'll put it like that. So where you touch. So if you touch it, it's going to open up your next window. These windows don't scroll, but you can. How do you make them disappear? On each page, at the very top and at the very bottom, there's a hidden link. You just tap on it, and the page will disappear. That's it. If you want it to come back, just hit it again. There it comes. Make it disappear. It's the same with all pages like this. If I hit the service page, if I hit the middle of the page, it's not going to do anything. If I hit the top, it's going to disappear. That's exactly how these are designed to work, so that you can populate and open up and say, we're going to talk about communication concerns, and I'm going to, maybe draw or write this. Did you know MasterCard start with 2? It's all designed to be very interactive. It's not just me giving you a presentation. It's the merchant needs to see this. That's why we have the pen. That's why even if you don't have a pen, you can use your finger just like so and draw all over the screen. Okay? That's how it works. So those will disappear like so. The next page, again, you have a couple of links. The first one here is our counterfeit and fraudulent liability. This is just a graphic showing what the liability shift happened in 2015. To open it, you just tap on it. There it is. To make it disappear, you just tap anywhere on it, because this is not one that really needs to be written on, but you can, as I did in the previous video. You can write on anything at all. Okay. One note people have asked, if I'm writing on the page, can I send the merchant a page with my writing on it? No. The only way you'd be able to do that would be to take a picture of the page and send it, like so. And taking a picture on an iPad is the home button and the power button at the top at the same time. And that's all it is. So to answer that question, not through the program, but there is a way to do it. And then also on this is another video. As you've already figured out, press play. To make it bigger, you use the call out button. Bottom right hand corner, as always, is the menu that pops up for your navigation throughout the entire presentation. Nothing will populate on this page or open up. Neither on this page. This is just simply another draw in for everybody. You'll notice the colors on the picture changing. This has a very good one. A lot of individuals don't really understand what PCI is. And for you guys, a good rule of thumb, if you see words embedded within a line like this that are the blue and orange colors, that generally means tap it because there's a link. So when I tap on this, it will open the next page. This page does scroll up and down. You simply take your finger and scroll up and down like so. Additionally, there are links to where thieves steal data and what needs to be secure. So as I hit them, you'll see them fly in. Hit the next one, I see them fly in. Now, not every presentation that you give is going to require you to go through every single part of this. Some people are like, I already got PCI. It's not a big deal. I understand it. I get it. I know what it's about. Other people are going to say, what is PCI? Well, I'm glad you asked. And then you can show them and educate them. That's what it's for. The presentation that I gave on the video that was almost an hour long went through literally everything. Presentations are usually 30 minutes, 40 minutes at the most. You don't have to go through everything. If you're spending longer than that, why? I'll put it like that, because you're going to start glossy-eyeing people over is what's going to happen. Okay. The next page that we get into is a lot of links. Not every one of these I created a link, because we could literally spend the entire presentation on this page. So you have a link under real-time reporting, which is your customizable reporting. You have a link under your recurring billing, a link for chargeback, and a link for statement archive, as well as for e-check and ACH, secure customer profiles, multi-merchant, interchange optimization, and if somebody ever asks you about the tokenization, we also put that on this version. So am I going to eventually have a pop-up for each window? I highly doubt it, simply because shopping cart integrations change so fast. We get so many new ones in that it would be a constant update. And there's other pages in the presentation that have the information already. But some of them don't require another window to pop up, like point-to-point encryption or tracking daily volume. You can see that right here on the actual phone itself. So to get to these, again, I'll give you a little bit of an idea of how big it is. It's a link about yay big, and it's the same on each. So remember, it's the first 4 on each side, and then tokenization. So to tap on it, you just tap on it, and it'll open up. Once it's open, you can move it if you'd like. I've used this as a sales tool. So somebody says, yeah, I really dig that reporting. Cool. Well, what about interchange optimization? Yeah, I really like that too. And I'll just move them to the side. And it kind of creates a list of the things people thought was really cool about our program. And then before I close this page, I'll say, yeah, you know, like you really dug that auto level 2, level 3. You dug the fact that you're going to have that statement archive here. These are all things that you currently feel you are lacking in your system, right? Exactly. Cool. So it's kind of nice to have a new home, right? Again, these trial closes will come up, and I'll give another class on that. But the trial closes are something that will subtly lead you to the sale, simply because it makes sense. That's the whole purpose of a consultative sales process, is to simply show people what they don't know and show them how we can correct it and lead them right into where they want to be. Because the one big thing about the presentation is that it builds a huge amount of value in our product if you use the presentation the correct way, which is just show them everything. It's pretty basic. To get off this page, you can get rid of each of these items if you'd like to. You can tap at the top, or if it's a scroll, you can tap at the bottom, and the page will go away. Just tap on it and it goes away. Or you can just swipe past the page. Okay. Next page that we come to is our More page. There's a video in the upper right-hand corner here. You just hit play like normal, and you can also use the call out like so. Now you have a couple different sections on this page. This page here is your first real trial close, like the big one. It's kind of what I call a recap. This goes through a recap of where you're at in the presentation. It tells them everything you just told them in a very short and concise method. And then we do a trial close. I believe in the video I used, have you ever seen a program as robust as this? The merchant said no. I said, how are we doing so far? The merchant says, great. Those are trial closes. And then a transition phrase, the one I usually use is, and this at this point is where most everybody else has to stop, simply because we've created a program that's completely unique. Boom. And I move on to the next section. But there are a couple pop-ups on this one. The screen of the computer and the screen of the iPad. When you tap it, it will bring in a larger version with a lot of words around it that go through some of the items. You're going to notice these are pretty repetitive on purpose. It's just getting into that merchant's mind and then really starting to understand, wow, this isn't just a typical credit card company. This isn't just about a rate. This is actually a company that can help me manage my company, my business. So to make this go away, just tap on the screen and it'll go away. If you want to pull up the one with the iPad, you can do that as well. You can make both pop up at the same time if you'd like. You just hit them both and it'll both pop up. I don't know why you do that, but you can. So that's that. And then you move to the next page is where you come to your first live website. So there's a button at the bottom. This, you'll notice if you draw from left to right, it will pull out. But if you see right here, this whole area, roughly about that size, is a live website. So when I tap on it, this is actually the internet. It's not stored within. There's all kinds of videos and everything else. This is a live website. Oops. So you can actually type anything you want and it'll pull it up if there's obviously a matching query to it. So if I want to know how to do a tip, I can scroll down and see what kind of an items I'm doing my tips on. If I want to be able to download anything that I want, I can search for on any product that is created by us. It's got this whole entire tutorial. Then down below, you get into each one, and they're individual pages as well. So if somebody's like, you know what, I just want to see about, a gateway, because I'm thinking about opening up a web store. You can go into API and start learning about the APIs, which is Application Program Interface. But you can start looking into this stuff. So it's a very good tool, and it's a very nice tool for merchants to be able to go in and get some ideas. And help themselves. But additionally is this. You've got your developer docs. When you start getting into web development companies, people that have web hosting companies, people that do web design, they're going to want to know where the developer website is. You just click on developer docs and it will actually take you to that page. It's not something that I do very often, but it's there if it's needed. So to make that disappear, you're going to hit the same spot you had it to appear, which is down here in this corner. I'm just going to tap it and it disappears. Okay. The next page, nothing will pop up. You're getting into your close now. So we're starting to get less stuff moving around and more about let's just get this thing done. Nothing pops up on this page. This page will go transparent on us, and there's no pop-ups because of everything we talk about on this page. Then finally you come to your close. On your close, there are actually 3 parts that pop up. breach coverage, merchant insurance policy, and the 60-day no mistakes, no regrets. You'll notice in the last video I did, I used the merchant insurance policy, and then I said, look, you don't have to make a decision today. Take 60 days, and I went through the 60 days. I did not pull up the breach coverage simply because most people get it. If somebody has a question like what does breach actually cover, just pull it up and it'll tell you right there. This is what it actually covers. Here's what happens. How does it work? And this is a scrolling page. Okay, so there's a lot of information on it. Just like all pages that are up and down like that, you tap the top to make it tap the top to make it disappear, or the bottom to make it disappear. And that's it. Make it reappear like so. And that is the basic parts of the presentation. Now we're moving on to the second half, which is all these supplemental pages. So you can see all the supplemental pages by just looking at Business 2.0. So you've got an individual page for the CardPoint countertop terminal, the virtual, which is your browser-based terminal, the mobile device, which is your app you can put on an Android or an Apple device, and your hosted payment page. Really cool. In the previous video I had mentioned the guy wanted about the hosted payment page. I'm going to show you what it looks like when I get to that page. It's pretty neat, and it's something you can show every merchant as you go along. And then API is your application program interface, and then your Bolt integration, which is our online system. So these are all items that have their own individual pages. There are a lot of things on this one. On this page you have a retail brochure and a restaurant brochure. Some people want things about the terminals. Remember, on our system they're not really terminals. Even though this is an Ingenico ICT 220, it's not a terminal anymore. That's a 250, but the ICTs are simply card entry devices for us. So they may have one of these right now, but it won't be compatible with our network because it has to be encrypted. Remember, this device has an SSL encryption TLS encryption for each merchant. That's why when we build a file, it's built specifically for that merchant, for their specific tokenization and encryption profile. It's pretty basic, but it's pretty cool. And then on the top right-hand corner, how do I install one of these terminals? Well, we created a nice video for you that shows you
terminal is a powerful
exactly how to do the setup on the terminal. And you can scroll through here a little bit, see how it teaches you how to plug it in, how to run a test transaction, everything you could possibly think of. So pretty neat little thing. I would show everybody that after you've done your paperwork, everything's done. Maybe when you come back to do the installation, or definitely before your first one, you're going to want to watch the video. Next page is the virtual terminal, or the CardPoint online browser-based system. Couple neat things about this. This and these are what are called top level. Those of you that had web development understand what I mean by this. These are all sub-level pages. So what does that mean? When I'm swiping through my presentation from left to right or from right to left, you'll see that it goes very smooth and it flows on to the next page. Because we didn't want to make every single customer look at every single page of every single thing. So especially when it comes to this, we had to create some sub-pages for you guys. So managing transactions, billing plans, receipts, all of these are going to look like they're the same page, but they're actually sub-pages. And why is this important? Well, if I'm showing somebody, say, managing transactions, and I have this popped up, and I'm showing them, and they're looking at the video, and I'm showing them all, and I come back to this page, and I'm like, all right, and I want to go to the next page, and I've got my iPad, and I'm going like this. Why won't it swipe? Because it's in the bottom level. It's in the sub-level, not on the top. So to go to the next page, you just hit the bottom. Okay? It's the only question that people have ever really brought up on that page is, I'm stuck, I've got phone calls on it, and that's simply why. Whenever you're in doubt, just hit the top button, accepting payments, or the bottom, CardPoint Mobile, and that's all you have to do. Okay? And again, each of the videos, it looks like it's the same page, but it's actually a different page. This has a little call out in the bottom right, you just populate it. Same as always, you hit done, and it'll close. And then on your next page here, there's not a whole ton of things that are going to open up, but there's some cool things. Number one is the catalog function. So catalog function is a function within our platform, and I'll do a different video just on what catalog is. Basically turns your mobile device, a tablet or phone, what have you, into a cash register. And this gives an overview on how this works. It's really neat because you can set up and organize categories and items, and it'll automatically charge tax, and you can You can track your cash sales as well. So it's really good for those merchants that do shows or they're mobile. It's a pretty neat little product. But there's, again, a nice video in the top right-hand corner that shows you exactly how to use the system. Now you come to your hosted payment page. Few things are going to populate on this page. Number one, you see the view PDF. So I'm going to open this link. This is a scrollable real page of a fake invoice. So a lot of customers want a solution where they can send an invoice to somebody and the customer can click on a link and make a payment. I like that. I'm sure you do too. It's pretty easy to do business that way. So that's what we do. All of our merchants get a hosted payment page. There's no additional transaction fees or cost, and there's a portal so they can actually customize it completely. So I went in and made here. These are both automatic links. They'll take you to the hosted payment page. At the bottom down here, you'll see where it says pay online or click here. It doesn't really matter. Hit any of them. Once you touch it, it's going to take a second because it's got to load. Now it's a website. This is actually live. If you do a transaction, I'll get an email that says you just ran a transaction. So you just show people. All of these fields on the hosted payment page are customizable by the customer. There's a portal. They go to it during the training classes you guys have been on. You've seen this. If you haven't been through all of them, you'll see it. But you can create new ones. You can add different fields. You can create drop downs. But one thing about the hosted payment page, it's not a shopping cart. It's not what it's designed for. It's designed for people to come in and pay their invoices. Make a payment to a customer, make a payment for somebody. We have universities using these, we have schools using these, I have laundry places using these, dry cleaning, I guess I should say. I have a hospital using this for their patient payments. I have a rehab center using this. So there's a ton of ways that you can utilize this. But the one thing for merchants, they've been using a separate company to do this type of stuff. Now with the CardPoint system and doing business with us, they get all of this. And the neat part is when a transaction is done on the hosted payment page, it shows up live instantaneously on their portal. So if they can check their phone and say, boom, plus they get an email as soon as it's done. So it's a really neat little tool. API and developer tools, when you start getting into that realm, obviously give us a call. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. But one of the things people will ask you about is integration with QuickBooks. Integration with QuickBooks is something that we use a thing called Instant Accept. So it's a true integration. It's not a plugin. What's the difference? An integration means you do all the transactions. Everything's done directly in the program. Whereas a plugin, like, I'm not going to mention any names, but there's a plugin that we used to use where when you'd want to make a payment, you would have to select credit card, hit a button, and then another little window would pop up, and then you would have to manually type in the dollar amount. Caused a lot of problems. And integration means it's all done. It just automatically populates the data for them. So it is a big difference between the two. SAP, when you start getting into enterprise sales, as well as Oracle, two big ones that you're going to want to know. We're a certified Oracle partner. So if you ever get into any of those, let us know. One thing about SAP is they have stopped support for SAP B1 because they are actually phasing that out. So next one is our Bolt integration. Nothing is going to populate on this page. Those of you who are watching these videos in your first couple of years, you're not going to be in this enterprise sales yet. Some of you might use the virtual terminal, or you might use the mobile device and you want to be able to take EMV. Currently, you can do that through the Bolt integration. And if you have, again, any questions, there'll be another video for that as well. The tools and forms, or the tool vault. So you've got tools and forms, document library, and your application portal. So each one of these is another tile. And as we remember, our tiles open by just swiping from right to left, open, boom, open, close. So as you open, if you want to view the PDF, you just simply open it up. Again, certain pages like this one are not shareable. I made it on purpose. I'll share my price list with anybody just by hitting this up because it doesn't matter. Okay. My volume pricing guide I don't share with anybody. Clover hardware guide, boom. This is also located, and this is a little hidden one, and I've done this on purpose. It's also a little hidden page, a little hidden button within the pulse of payments here. So on this page, in addition to the 5 that you have, this is also a button. When I hit it, it actually populates and opens up. Because part of the presentation, when I get into the pulse of payments, and I talk about, listen, you have 2 questions at this point. Number one, what's this going to cost me? And number two, what's my rate going to be? Some people will say, well, what if I want to buy a point of sale system? Oh, you mean something like this? Yeah, those are available. Those obviously you have to pay for those. But we do have a no charge option on the Clover Mini for a merchant that processes over $10,000 a month. By all means, you can have one of those if you'd like. Okay, so it's done that way on purpose because it's one of those ideas that when somebody asks, it's there, but it's not something that's used on a whole lot of presentations. I tell you that right now. So, but your tools and forms, there'll be another video regarding how to fill the forms out. But you'll find most of the forms on this page are just simply PDFs. When we go into our next page, this is where we start getting into items that need to be filled out. So you're going to see some of these items have what's called a DocuSign. So if I go in here into the bottom or left-hand corner of my agreements, so for example, an equipment purchase agreement, what is that? That means somebody wants to pay cash and buy something. Well, you can do it like this, which means you just share it and then print it and then fill it out manually. Or you can do what's called a DocuSign. And a DocuSign, when I click on here, it goes to another page. And so we go to the Power Form and we just type in our name. I like to do it in all caps because it's a little easier, but for this I won't, at cardconnectdirect.com. Then you're going to put in your merchant's name, their full name, because this is exactly how it's going to be written, because it automatically pulls this data and puts it onto the document. And then what's their email? I'll just put mine like so. Once I'm done, I've got the bottom down here where it says begin signing. I just tap on begin signing. Okay. Oops, I missed something. Kind of smart, it'll let you know if you miss anything. And then hit go. Now it's going to create, this is the internet, it's creating for you a DocuSign directly on DocuSign. It's called a Power Form. Okay, this page always pops up, then you'll hit continue on the bottom right hand corner. The first time it pops up, it will ask you, I agree to do electronic signatures with Card Connect Direct. I believe that's what it says when it first, but I use this all the time. So filling this out is very basic. You just hit the start button in the top right hand corner and you go to the first field. Red fields are required that something is put in there. So for example, I want to buy, say, a CardPoints terminal, quantity 1, price is 170. And let's say that I'm telling the merchant, I'm going to cover shipping, so I just put a little period in there, and my total is 170. I personally wouldn't do that, but there it is. Okay, and that's it. So once I do that, I can hit next, and I'll go to whatever my next field might be, which is going to be your routing number. Go to your next field. Go to your next field. The title of the merchant. Okay, business legal name, ABC Incorporated. And DBA name, we'll call it Joe's Guitar Shop. Okay. And now, pretty basic, I hit next, and now it says finish. Once I hit finish on this form, it immediately is going to the email address of that merchant. So the merchant then will get an email where I just review my document. I'm the signer now, I'm a merchant is my name, and this is what the merchant sees. Okay. Yes, I allow to use my location. Bottom left-hand corner, yes, I agree to use electronic records and signatures. And they can do this on their tablet. They just log into their email. Or they can do it on their computer. Doesn't really matter. I'm sure most of us have used DocuSign at some point. All right. So in this one, you got an optional initial. If you want to initial it, the merchant's going to put in their initials. So I'm just going to put I'm a merchant. Okay. Adopt my initial. Now I have the next field, which is a signature. So now I have to sign it. Okay, like so. And that's my signature, and done. Okay, so now when I hit sign again, it automatically populates that over, and I hit finish. That immediately goes into New Apps, which is where all boarding documents need to go. So that's how do you fill out a DocuSign within the ScrollMotion presentation. And there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll do some more on some of the other items within it. But if you have any questions, as always, give us a call at the office, 888-570-2386. Feel free to reach out to your manager, your sales coordinator, or myself. Everybody have a great day.